Tim Drake is easily the best Robin. Yes, even better than Dick Grayson. And it isn't even close. Tim Drake is the third Robin. But unlike the previous two, Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, he wasn't handpicked by Batman. He also isn't a nepo baby like Damian Wayne, who only became Robin because he's Batman's biological son. Tim Drake is the Robin who truly had to earn his position. It's unfortunate that Tim is constantly overlooked and underappreciated. He isn't as popular as his fellow Robins, and some may even consider him to be boring or redundant. But I believe his less dramatic backstory actually adds to his character rather than taking away from it. Unlike Dick Grayson, whose parents were murdered in public while performing at a circus, or Jason Todd, who was famously killed by the Joker and then later resurrected, Tim wasn't shaped by extreme tragedy. Instead, he was just a smart, athletic kid who, at the age of 9, figured out Batman and Nightwing's secret identities. It makes you wonder, if a child was able to figure out Batman's secret identity, why couldn't the other characters in the DC universe? Well, because Tim Drake is a genius. Also because it's a comic book. There's something admirable to be said about becoming a superhero. Not because of personal trauma or vengeance or even destiny, but because you just want to do good. That is who Tim Drake is. What makes him even more compelling is that he was actually reluctant to become a crime fighter. He didn't take on the role of Robin because he saw adventure or glory. He did it because it was the right thing to do. This speaks volumes about his morals and the man he will grow into. I understand the premise of this video may sound a bit silly. People don't usually associate masculinity with a character like Robin, a character known for wearing nothing to cover his legs except for underwear. To Tim Drake's credit, he is the first Robin to actually have his legs covered as he fights crime. This definitely helped with Batman's PR, as having your crime-fighting partner as young as Robin dressing up like this is definitely not a good look. Masculinity is a lot more than just physical dominance, and I believe Robin, specifically Tim Drake's incarnation, demonstrates a more nuanced, mature form of masculinity, one that is rooted in responsibility and discipline. Quickly, before we continue, I just want to say hi. My name is Imran and I make video essays on media and masculinity. If you enjoy these types of videos, then please be sure to subscribe to my channel, like the video, and comment on who you want to see a video on next. I also have a Patreon if you want to support me there. Thank you. After the death of Jason Todd, the second Robin, Batman becomes a lot more ruthless in his crime fighting, resulting in not only his enemies being absolutely brutalized, but also himself. He has become a lot more reckless of a fighter and blames himself for Jason's death. Tim realizes that only a Robin can help calm Batman down. Tim understands that Robins don't just help Batman in combat, but they serve as a reminder of his duty to be more than just an agent of vengeance. They remind him to have higher standards for himself as a hero. As Batman is naturally a role model for Robin, Robins are a reflection of Batman. Without having a younger protege to ground him, Batman becomes more susceptible to go into a dark spiral. Tim insists on Dick Grayson to go back to the Robin mantle and partner up with Batman again. But Dick Grayson grew out of being Robin. He now goes by Nightwing and no longer wants to work with Batman as his partner after the hell he put him through. Dick is also too busy spending time with the Titans. It's clear from Dick's reaction that being Batman's sidekick had a clear mental and physical toll on him. But even after being told all this, not to mention the fact that the previous Robin was killed by the Joker, Tim still takes on this responsibility of being the new Robin. This decision is what sets Tim Drake apart from the other Robins. He wasn't motivated by personal tragedy or revenge. He became Robin purely out of duty and moral obligation. Interestingly enough, out of Dick, Bruce and Tim, it's Tim who is the most level-headed in this situation, despite being the youngest and most inexperienced. Dick still harbours resentment toward Bruce from his time as Robin, and Bruce is consumed by grief over Jason's death. Tim sees the situation clearly and understands what needs to be done. It's Tim who steps up and acts the most mature. He is a reluctant hero, which honestly makes his ascent into herohood even more noble, as he doesn't take on the Robin mantle because he wants to, but because it's the only way to prevent Batman spiraling deeper into darkness. Tim doesn't feel ready to become Robin, but what does he do? He becomes Robin anyway. Batman needs him, and Tim's personal feelings on the matter are overridden by his moral compass. And him not feeling ready to become a crime fighter should not be mistaken for a lack of confidence. He still ends up suiting up and saving Batman, and then trains insanely hard to continue fulfilling his role as Robin. Despite being a kid, he acts like a real man. Unlike the other Robins, he does not have any innate advantage as a fighter. Dick Grayson was a professional acrobat with his family. Jason Todd was forced to be a fighter as he grew up in a rough neighborhood. And Damian Wayne was of course trained by the League of Assassins. But through sheer determination, Tim trained to become a skilled fighter. Under the additional guidance of mentors like Nightwing and Lady Shiva, he refines his combat abilities. He isn't the physically strongest of the Robins. It can even be argued that he's the weakest out of the main 4 Robins. But he compensates this by being the hardest worker out of all of them. And when Nightwing isn't available to lead the Titans, it's Tim who steps up and takes this leadership position. This is why Tim deserves respect. His story isn't about tragedy or revenge, it's about being a good person. It's about selflessness, working hard, and the willingness to step up when no one else will. Tim Drake may not be the most popular Robin, but he is the best one. Not because he is the most physically gifted or the most talented, but because he embodies what it truly means to be a hero. And that is why he is a figure of masculinity.